The cargo ship Stanner floated silently in space, broken and dark. Once a busy transport ship, it was now only steel wreckage drifting near a dead moon. After the attack, everything had changed. The crew was gone. Systems were dead. Only emergency. Lights blinked faintly in red. Rel, a maintenance worker, not a soldier, not a leader, was the only one left. He walked slowly through the damaged corridor, breathing heavily through his cracked helmet. His oxygen was low. The air purifier had failed last night, and he had managed to patch it, just barely. His stomach growled again. His water pack was empty. If he didn't find food soon, he wouldn't make it another day. He reached the cargo bay. The doors were half open, twisted from the explosion. Sparks hissed from broken panels. Inside the bay, hundreds of storage crates were stacked or scattered. Some broken open, others sealed. Some crates had warning signs, others had faded labels. He had already checked many of them. Most were filled with spare parts. Alien samples, machine tools. But now, near the back, one crate caught his eye. It was larger than the others, smooth and silver, with strange symbols glowing faintly across its surface. It wasn't like the human crates. This one looked alien. But he didn't care anymore. If there was anything inside, dried food, protein packs, even strange alien nutrition, he would eat it. Rel stepped forward and touched the edge of the crate. It was cold, humming quietly. His fingers found a control panel, smooth and warm, under his gloves. He tapped it. Nothing happened. He tried again. This time, the panel blinked green. With a soft hiss, the crate opened. Inside, a soft light shone down on something curled up in the center. Rel leaned in, expecting some kind of food storage or even a strange alien object. But what he saw made him freeze. A small figure was lying there. Not food, not equipment, a child. She was no older than 5, maybe 6. Her skin was rich teal blue, her hair soft and dark, her body thin but alive. She blinked slowly as if waking from a long dream. Her eyes opened, round, silver, and glowing, softly in the crate's light. She looked up at Rel, her lips parted, and then she spoke. One word. Father? Rel stepped back, shocked. He looked around as if someone else might be there, but the cargo bay was silent. The child sat up slowly. She looked weak, but not afraid. Her voice was soft, unsure, but clear. She looked at him with eyes full of strange emotion, hope, confusion. Something else. Father, she said again. Rel didn't move. His mind was spinning. Was this some kind of test? A trick? A dream caused by hunger and stress? I'm not your father, he said carefully. But the child tilted her head and blinked again. Yes, you are. Her words were not perfect. She spoke in a mix of languages, part human, part alien. But Rel could understand her. Somehow she was speaking from both worlds. Where are your parents? Rel asked. She pointed to the inside of the crate. There were markings he hadn't noticed before, symbols like data tags. Next to them, glowing faintly, were letters, some in alien language, but some in English. His name. Rel, genetic match, 98.9%. His breath caught in his throat. What is this? He whispered. The child looked at him again. They made me. But you are the start. Rel took a step back and sat down on a metal box nearby. His knees were weak. His head ached. This had to be a mistake. A clone, a child, part human, part alien. The crate had kept her alive. A life pod, not a storage box. And she had been waiting, not for food, not for freedom, for him. He looked at her again. She had the eyes of someone searching for safety, for care, for family. She was thin, tired, but calm. "What's your name?" Rel asked. "Ina," she said. He nodded slowly. "Ina, I'm not your father. Not really." She blinked. "But you opened the box." Rel didn't know what to say. In a ship full of silence and death, here was a voice. A small, quiet voice that called him father, not because he earned it, but because he was there. She held out her hand. Hesitantly, Rel reached out and took it. Her hand was warm, and for the first time in days, Rel didn't feel alone. Rel sat quietly beside the crate, still holding the child's hand. He stared at her, unsure what to think or feel. The silence around them was heavy, broken only by the soft hum of damaged ship systems. Outside the bay doors, space stretched, wide and endless. The girl, Ina, looked up at him with curious eyes. Her silver pupils moved slowly, studying his face. "You are tired," she said gently. Rel gave a dry laugh. "Yes, very tired." She tilted her head. "You are hungry too?" "Yes." "I came here looking for food, but I found you." Ina smiled, softly, her expression calm. "We can find food together." Rel looked at her again. She didn't seem scared, not cold, not angry, only calm, as if she had waited a long time for this moment, as if waking up in a broken ship, speaking to a stranger was somehow normal for her. He stood up and looked around the cargo bay again. Most of the crates were useless now. He had already searched through many of them. But now, he had to think not just for himself. Ina needed help too. He moved to a nearby crate and forced it open with a broken rod. Inside, he found sealed water, packs. They were alien, but the label showed oxygen safe levels. He scanned one with his wrist tool. Still good. He handed it to Ina. "Drink this, slowly." She took it and sipped. "Thank you." Then he found a small bag filled with something like food, soft cubes of dried material. He tasted one, bitter, but not poisonous. He gave a piece to Ina. She sniffed it, then ate. As they sat and ate, in silence, Rel looked at her again. Her skin had a soft glow under the dim lights. Her hair was black with a hint of blue. Her face looked more human than alien, but her eyes were different. They held knowledge, depth, a quiet understanding. He couldn't explain. "How long were you in that crate?" Rel asked. Ina looked at her fingers. "A long time. I don't remember all of it. There was light, then dark, then dreams. Then I heard your voice." "My voice?" She nodded. "You spoke when you opened the crate. I heard you." Rel rubbed the back of his neck. "This doesn't make sense. I'm just a tech worker. I don't have children. I never joined any science programs." "How can your crate have my name?" Ina closed her eyes for a moment. "I was made, not born. They used your cells. They said you were strong, kind. They said your DNA was clean." He frowned. "You understand all this?" She opened her eyes again. "Only some. I remember words, pictures. I learned while I slept." "Why do you call me father?" Ina pointed at her chest. "They told me I would meet you, that you would protect me, that I would know you when I saw your eyes." Rel didn't know what to say. He had always been alone, never married, no family left on Earth. He had worked ship to ship, fixing pipes and wires, avoiding big decisions. He never thought someone would call him father, but here she was, a child made in a lab, a mix of alien and human, and she looked at him as if he mattered. He stood up. "We need to find a safer place. This bay is too open, and we don't know who else might be watching." Ina stood too, a little unsteady. Rel offered his hand again. She took it without question. They moved slowly through the hallways of the ship. Lights flickered. The air felt colder. The ship was dying. Rel knew he had only a few days left before life support shut down completely. He led Ina to a small maintenance room near the center of the ship. It had a backup power cell, clean air, and a locking door. Not much, but safer than the open cargo bay. He sat her down on a padded bench and checked the systems. The air recycler was working. Water filter, too. Enough for a few days. Ina explored the room with interest. She touched wires, screens, and tools. She seemed to understand some of them already. "You're very smart," Rel said. She nodded. "I was taught many things in sleep, but I still have much to learn." He smiled for the first time in days. "Well, you're in the right place. I fix things. Maybe I can help you learn more." She looked at him with soft eyes. "Will you stay with me?" Rel paused. He didn't know what was coming. Rescue? More danger? He had no idea what was waiting outside this ship. But he looked at her, this strange child who called him father, and nodded. "Yes, I'll stay." She smiled again, and for a moment Rel felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. Rel sat near the wall of the small maintenance room, watching Ina as she quietly played with a bundle of wires. She wasn't just playing, though. She was connecting the ends in the correct pattern, as if she already knew how circuits worked. Her fingers were careful. Her face was calm. Rel leaned forward. "Where did you learn to do that?" Ina didn't look up. "In the dream place. They showed me pictures. I had to remember shapes, colors, energy." "Who showed you?" She stopped and turned to him. "The ones who made me, but they left. I think they were scared." Rel frowned. "Scared of what?" Ina shrugged. "Of me? Of others like me?" Rel felt a cold feeling in his chest. Others like her? Were there more children? More crates? He stood up and walked to the small control panel near the door. The screen was cracked but still worked. He connected his wrist scanner to the system and opened the ship's database. Most files were damaged, some missing, but the cargo logs were still there, at least partly. He scrolled through the list: food units, metal supplies, energy cores, and then a set of files marked Experimental Genesis Program. Rel tapped the file. A passcode window appeared. He tried the emergency override. The screen blinked, then opened. Lines of text appeared. Genesis Program, Phase 3. Hybrid development successful. Subject growth accelerated DNA source, human, RELL, ID 22284K. Partner species, Keelaa, telepathic traits. Emotional imprint enabled stasis, transport approved. 6 units. Rel stepped back. His name was there. His ID. He had never joined any special mission. He had never agreed to this. He kept reading. Purpose: to create a new generation of life capable of surviving in both human and alien environments. Mentally flexible. Physically adaptive. Emotionally bonded. Status: 5 units lost. 1 unit active. Subject. Name: Rel felt the weight of the words settle in his mind. She wasn't just a child. She was part of a project, an experiment, a last chance at something greater, or something dangerous. He turned to look at her. She was now arranging tools by size. She liked order, he noticed. She liked learning. "Ina," he said softly, "do you remember any other children? Like you?" Ina paused. Her fingers froze. "Yes, I saw them in the dream place. We floated together. They were warm, but then they went quiet. I couldn't feel them anymore." "They died?" Rel asked gently. She nodded. "I think so." Rel sat down again. "Why would they do this? Make children like you and then leave?" Ina looked at him. "They wanted to fix something. The war, the fear, the pain. They said we were a bridge." "A bridge?" "Between human and alien, between past and..." Future. Rel rubbed his eyes. This was too big, too strange. He had fixed engines, pipes, doors, not DNA, not life. He looked back at the screen. Another file caught his eye. Warning, hostile contact. Recorded time, 36 hours before attack. Message, destroy the Genesis cargo. Do not let the bridge survive. Rel's blood ran cold. This wasn't an accident. The ship hadn't just been caught in space trouble. It was attacked on purpose. Someone wanted to erase this program. Someone feared what these children could become. He looked at Ina again. She was still quiet, watching him now. They tried to erase you, he said. Ina nodded. But you found me. Rel stood and paced the room. That means they might still be looking. If you're the last one, they'll come. They won't stop. Ina tilted her head. You are afraid. Yes, Rel admitted. But not for me. For you. She walked toward him and gently took his hand again. Then we run together. He looked down at her small fingers holding his. So calm, so sure. He smiled sadly. You're stronger than you look. Ina smiled back. So are you. They spent the next few hours preparing. Rel searched for anything useful. Batteries, tools, a working comlink. He didn't find much, but every wire and part mattered. He also pulled out an old drone scanner from the supply cabinet. If someone came close to the ship, it might give them a small warning. Meanwhile, Ina drew strange symbols on a metal sheet. When Rel asked what they meant, she said softly, They are memories, so I don't forget the dream place. By the end of the day, the power lights blinked red again. Life support was failing faster now. Rel sat beside Ina and opened a small container of food they had saved. They shared it in silence. Then she looked up at him and asked, Do I have a mother, too? Rel was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, I don't know. Maybe she's out there. Maybe she helped make you too. Ina nodded. I hope she's kind. I think she would be, Rel said. Ina leaned her head against his arm. Thank you for not leaving me in the crate. I didn't come looking for you, he said. But I'm glad I found you. Outside the window, the stars blinked in the dark, and somewhere beyond, danger waited. But inside the small room, for the first time in a long time, two hearts beat together. The small maintenance room had become a quiet shelter for Rel and Ina. They spent most of their time fixing broken systems, searching the ship for supplies, and trying to stay alive. But time was running out. Rel knew the truth now. Someone had attacked Stanner on purpose. Someone had tried to erase the Genesis program. And that meant someone might still be out there, looking for Ina. The oxygen level was dropping. The backup power cell was nearly empty. And worst of all, the scanner drone they had fixed was starting to pick up movement outside. Another signal, Rel whispered, staring at the blinking red light on the panel. He checked the radar screen. A small object had entered their range. It was moving slowly but steadily, directly toward them. A rescue ship? Ina asked, sitting on the floor with her arms around her knees. Rel shook his head. No. Rescue ships send signals. This one is silent. He stared at the shape again. It was long, thin, and dark, almost like a needle drifting through space. No name. No ID code, he muttered. He stood up and quickly started packing their gear. We can't stay here. That thing is not here to help us. Ina stood too. Is it one of them? I think so, Rel said. They found us. Ina didn't look afraid. Instead, she walked over to the wall and touched the smooth metal. She closed her eyes. What are you doing? Rel asked. I can feel it, she whispered. It's looking for me. He stared at her. How? I don't. No, but I know it's not alone. More may follow. Rel's heart pounded. They had no weapons, no working escape pod, only broken rooms, half-dead systems, and hope. But Rel wasn't going to give up. Not now. Not after everything. Not after finding her. "We can't outrun it," he said. "But maybe we can hide." He opened a storage cabinet and pulled out a broken loader pod, a small machine once used to move crates. It had its own weak thrusters and small energy core. It was slow, but it still worked. "Ina," he said, "we're going to use this to leave the ship." She looked at the machine. "Will it fly?" "Not far," he replied, "but maybe far enough." They climbed into the loader and closed the hatch. Rel tapped the control screen and began connecting wires. Sparks flew. The machine hummed. "Just hold together," Rel muttered, "for one last ride." Outside, the dark ship moved closer. The radar screen showed it entering the outer hull's shadow. Then, a sharp jolt. The lights flickered. The sound of tearing metal echoed through the halls. "They've attached to the ship," Rel said. "We're out of time." He slammed the launch button. With a burst of energy, the loader pod pushed away from the side of Stanner. It tumbled at first, then steadied. Behind them, the main ship looked like a floating graveyard. Ina stared through the small window. "Will it follow us?" Rel didn't answer. He was focused on controlling the thrusters, but his mind was racing. The alien ship was too fast, too advanced. If it locked onto their pod, they were finished. Then he remembered something. The old mining asteroid field nearby. Stanner had passed it 3 days before the attack. It was filled with rocks, metal debris, and empty tunnels. "If we can reach the asteroid field," Rel said, "we might be able to hide inside the rocks." Ina nodded. "It feels cold there, but safe." Rel pushed the pod faster. Every light blinked red. The machine wasn't meant for space travel, but it had to be enough. As they reached the edge of the field, he saw the alien ship behind them, gliding silently. It didn't fire. It didn't flash lights. It simply followed. Rel weaved between the rocks, dodging debris. The pod scraped against metal. One wing cracked. A warning light blinked, but the engine kept pushing. "Come on," he whispered. "Just a little more." Ina placed her hand on the window. It stopped. Rel looked. The alien ship had paused outside the field. It was watching, but not entering. "Maybe its sensors don't work well in here," he guessed. "Or maybe it's afraid to go deeper." They drifted into a small cave carved into the side of a large rock. Rel shut down the engine and cut all power. Darkness surrounded them. Silence. They waited. Minutes passed. The radar showed nothing. "I think we lost it," Rel whispered. Ina leaned against his side. "You are smart and brave." He smiled tiredly. "I'm just stubborn. Stubborn people live longer," she said, then closed her eyes. Rel sat in the dark, listening to the quiet hum of the pod. They had escaped, for now. But this wasn't the end. The message was clear. Ina was being hunted, and whoever wanted her gone hadn't stopped. He looked at the girl sleeping beside him, so calm, so strange, and yet so human in ways no one could understand. He made a silent promise then, to protect her, to find out the full truth, to make sure she had a future, because he wasn't just a survivor now. He was a father, and fathers don't run forever. Sometimes they fight back. The loader pod sat hidden deep inside the rocky tunnel of the asteroid. No lights, no sound, only silence and shadows. Rel stayed awake while Ina slept beside him, her head resting on his shoulder. Time moved slowly. Rel checked the scanner again. Nothing. The alien ship was still outside the asteroid field waiting. "They know we're here," he whispered to himself. "They're just being patient." He looked at Ina's face. Even in sleep, she looked peaceful. Her blue skin glowed faintly in the darkness. She trusted him. without question. Not because he was strong, not because he had answers, but because he chose to stay. He had never planned to be anyone's father. He had always kept to himself. He fixed engines, moved from ship to ship, and avoided attachments. But now things had changed. Now he had someone to protect. After some hours, Ina slowly opened her eyes. She looked around the dark pod and sat up. "Are we safe now?" she asked. "For now," Rel answered. "But we can't hide here forever." Ina nodded. She looked thoughtful. "Do you think we can send a signal? Ask for help?" Rel raised his eyebrows. "A signal?" "Yes," she said. "Before the ship crashed, they said something about an old relay. Something in the asteroid field." Rel paused. He remembered. Stanner had passed a broken communication relay station during the trip. It was an abandoned post from an old mining company, years old, probably forgotten. You think it still works? Ina closed her eyes again. Her voice became soft. "It's not dead. I can feel energy. Weak, but still alive." Rel looked at her, surprised. "You can sense that?" She nodded. "I don't know how, but I know it's close." He stood and turned on the radar screen. He searched the asteroid map. After a few moments, a small dot appeared, a shape built into the side of a rock far on the other side of the field. "There it is," he said. "The relay station." Ina smiled. "We can call someone. We can tell them everything." Rel stared at the screen. The station was far, the pod was damaged, and the alien ship might still be watching. "It's risky," he said, "but it's hope," Ina replied. Rel nodded. "Then we go." They started moving slowly through the field. Rel guided the pod carefully, using shadows from the rocks. He kept the engines quiet. Every sharp turn made the pod creak. Every bump made him hold his breath. Ina stayed quiet, watching the scanner. Her hands rested on the metal, as if listening through the ship. Halfway through the journey, she spoke. "Rel." "Yes?" "Why did you open the crate?" He thought for a moment. "I was hungry. I thought it was food." She smiled. "But when you saw me, you didn't run." He looked at her. "I don't know why. I just couldn't leave you there." Ina nodded. "They said you would care." "They?" "The ones who made me. They didn't know much about humans. But they believed one thing, that love isn't always about blood. Sometimes it's about choice." Rel stayed silent for a long moment. Then he said, "I didn't choose to make you, Ina, but I'm choosing to stay." Her eyes brightened. "That's all I need." They finally reached the relay station. It was old, covered in dust and space rock. The entrance hatch was frozen shut. Rel used a heat tool to melt the edges. The door opened with a loud hiss. Inside, the air was dry and stale. Lights flickered weakly. They stepped in. The station was small, built for 2 people. Most of the systems were offline, but the main power core was still working, barely. The communication tower stood tall above the roof, though it had many cracks. Rel moved fast. He connected his wrist tool to the main panel. "If this thing can send even a short message, we might reach someone." Ina stood beside him, touching the wires. "I can help." Together, they worked. Rel repaired circuits while Ina adjusted the antenna alignment. Her hands were fast and sure. He was amazed by how much she understood, like she had lived through hundreds of lessons already. Finally, the screen blinked. Signal ready. Weak, but stable. Rel typed quickly. He didn't use military codes or science terms. He kept it simple. "This is Rel, survivor of the cargo ship Stanner. We have a Genesis child with us. Hostile forces attacked us. We need help. Sending coordinates now." He pressed send. The screen flashed once. Then again. Signal sent. They waited. Minutes passed. Then, a reply. Message received, human ship responding. ETA, 12 hours. Stay hidden. Do not engage. We are coming. Rel sat back, letting out a deep breath. Ina smiled brightly. They heard us. Yes, he said. They're coming. But even as he said it, the radar beeped. He turned to the screen. A small red dot appeared near the edge of the field. The alien ship had moved again. It was searching. It knows we're close, Ina whispered. Rel stood and checked the outside camera. The stars seemed calm, but something dark moved just behind the rocks. They'll be here before help arrives, he said. Ina placed her hand on his. Then we fight, she said. Rel looked at her, surprised. You're not afraid? I am, Ina said softly. But I'm not alone. He smiled. Neither am I. And in that moment, in the middle of a cold, forgotten place in space, Rel didn't feel like a survivor anymore. He felt like something more. A father. The relay station trembled slightly as the alien ship moved through the asteroid field. Its shadow stretched across jagged rocks, a silent threat that reminded Rel and Ina how little time they had. They were safe, for now, but Rel knew that safety could vanish in a single moment. He moved to the control panel, checking the signals. The human response ship had acknowledged them. Help was on the way, but it would take hours. Hours that the alien ship might not allow. Ina stood beside him, her hands resting on the cold metal of the console. I can help, she said softly. I know how to make it stronger. Rel looked at her. You mean the signal? She nodded. If I connect, I can use my link to the Genesis system. It might give the signal more power. Rel hesitated. It's risky. You could hurt yourself. Ina tilted her head. I will be okay. But if we don't do it, they will find us first. He studied her face. Her eyes were calm, determined. He had learned something important about her over these days. She didn't think like a normal child. She understood danger and choice in ways humans often forgot, and yet she still trusted him completely. All right, he said. We do it together, but carefully. They moved to the small pod section of the relay. The antenna was damaged, wires hanging loose. Rel helped Ina connect the links. She touched the metal carefully, and he adjusted the circuits according to her directions. Her small hands moved with precision and speed, as if she had done this before. When they finished, Ina took a deep breath. Ready? Rel nodded. Do it. She closed her eyes and pressed her palms to the panel. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a soft hum filled the room. The lights flickered. Energy flowed through the wires, through the antenna, and into space. Rel felt the hum in his chest. The air around them seemed charged. The signal grew stronger, pushing outward into the vast dark of space. It was a fragile line of hope. And then, a new reading appeared on the radar. The alien ship had slowed. It circled the field, but it seemed to hesitate, unable to locate them precisely. Your signal, Rel said, astonished. It's affecting them. Ina opened her eyes, calm but focused. Yes, but I cannot hold it for long. The energy is strong, but it tires me quickly. Rel placed a hand on her shoulder. Then we do it together. I'll help you. She nodded. Rel connected his own link to the panel, his human energy mingling with her unique abilities. For a few minutes, they worked in perfect unison. Two beings, human and hybrid, sending a single powerful message across the stars. Outside, the human rescue ship picked up the signal. Its engines flared, sending a bright shimmer through the asteroid field. It would reach them in hours, guided by the coordinates Rel and Ina had sent. The alien ship, however, remained near the edge of the field, scanning every shadow, every gap, searching for the source. Rel and Ina watched the radar carefully. Red dots moved closer, small drones, silent and sharp, sent by the alien ship. They had found the field, but they hadn't located the relay yet. For now, The rocks and shadows were their shield. "They're coming," Rel said quietly. "We have only minutes before they reach this area." Ina's hands hovered over the control panel. "I can hold the signal a little longer, but I need you to do something." "What?" "Prepare the field, make traps, tricks in the rocks, noise, anything to slow them down." Rel nodded. He moved quickly through the asteroid, placing loose debris and old sensors from the relay station. Some sensors would make noise if the drones moved too close, giving them an early warning. Other pieces of debris could serve as barriers, slowing pursuit. It wasn't much, but every second mattered. The hum of energy from Ina's connection grew louder. The relay's lights flickered, spreading pulses into space. Rel felt the tension in the room sharp as metal. They were holding back something dangerous, holding hope at the same time. Then, a sudden alarm flashed on the radar. A small drone had entered the tunnel. It was silent, dark, and moving fast. Rel grabbed a loose tool and prepared to strike it, but Ina stopped him. "Don't," she whispered. "I can guide it away." Her hands hovered over the panel. Lights and circuits glowed faintly as her mind seemed to reach into the small drone's sensors. Rel watched in amazement. The drone slowed, changed direction, and drifted, harmlessly into a dead end, confused. "You're incredible," Rel said. "I've never seen anything like that." Ina smiled faintly. "I told you, I am made for this, but I am still a child." Rel knelt beside her. "You don't have to be anything else right now. Just be you." Her small hand reached for his. "I will try." Minutes passed like hours. Red dots moved around the edges of the asteroid field. The alien ship circled, sending more drones. Each time a drone came near, Ina pushed energy through the relay, confusing it, redirecting it, keeping them safe. Rel kept the shadows full of obstacles, slowing every advance. Finally, a bright flare appeared on the radar. The human ship had arrived. Its engines glowed through the asteroid field, bright and powerful. A relief wave washed over Rel. The alien ship recoiled, as if recognizing the new threat. For the first time, it seemed cautious. "They're here," Rel said, his voice tense but hopeful. Ina released her hands from the panel. She sank back, breathing hard. "It is done." Rel smiled. "No, it's only just begun." "But you did more than I thought possible." She looked up at him. "I did it with you." He placed a hand on her head gently. "That's what fathers do." Ina blinked slowly. "You are my father, then." Rel held her hand tightly. "I choose to be." The alien ship retreated to the edge of the asteroid field, uncertain and wary. Its drones pulled back. For now, the immediate threat was held at bay. Rel and Ina watched the stars together. The human ship came closer, a shining hope in the dark. Rescue, safety, answers. Everything they had been waiting for was finally approaching. And in that moment, Rel realized something he had never felt before. He wasn't just a survivor. He wasn't just a tech worker drifting through space. He was a father, and he would protect Ina, no matter the cost. The human rescue ship glided silently through the asteroid field, its bright engines illuminating rocks and shadows. Inside the loader pod, Rel held Ina close, keeping her steady as the small vessel moved toward safety. The tension in the air was thick, but relief began to settle over them. The alien ship had not followed, for now the immediate danger had passed. Rel looked at Ina. Her small hands were clenched tightly around his arm. Her silver eyes were wide, filled with wonder, fatigue, and something new. Hope. "We're almost there," Rel whispered. "Just a little farther." Ina tilted her head. "Will they help us?" "Yes," Rel said. "They know what's happened. They'll keep you safe." She smiled faintly. "I like being safe." Rel smiled too. "I like it too. But safety is more than hiding. It's having someone by your side." She looked up at him. Then you will stay? Always, he said. The loader pod creaked as it approached the larger ship. Rel guided it carefully into a docking bay, using every ounce of control he had. The human crew had prepared for this moment. Lights blinked and mechanical arms reached out to guide the small pod inside. Finally, with a soft thud, the pod was secured. Rel unstrapped himself and helped Ina climb out. Her legs wobbled, but she held herself steady. Crew members surrounded them, medical officers, engineers, and security personnel. They looked at Ina with awe, as if seeing something impossible. One of the officers stepped forward. We received your signal. Are you both unharmed? Rel nodded. Mostly. But she's tired. The officer knelt beside Ina. You're safe. Now, we'll take care of everything. Ina looked at Rel. Will you come with me? Rel smiled. Of course. I'm not leaving you. The officer nodded, understanding. Then let's get you both to medical. You'll need rest and food. As they walked through the corridors of the rescue ship, Ina's eyes sparkled with curiosity. Everything was new to her. Machines, lights, colors, sounds. Rel held her hand, guiding her gently. You're safe now, he whispered again. Ina leaned against him. I know, because you are here. After medical checks and nourishment, they were allowed to rest in a quiet cabin. Rel watched Ina sleep, her chest rising and falling slowly. The soft hum of the ship's engines was a comforting sound. It was so different from the cold silence of Stanner. He thought about everything that had happened, the attack, the crate, the Genesis program, and the danger that had chased them through space. Every memory made him feel a deep connection to Ina. She wasn't just a child he had found. She was someone he had chosen to protect, and that made her his family. He sat by the window, looking at the stars. The darkness of space was still there, but it no longer felt empty. Hope had returned. A soft voice broke his thoughts. Rel? He turned. Ina had woken and was standing by the window looking out at the stars. Can we leave this place? She asked. I want to see more stars. I want to see other worlds. Rel smiled. Yes. Once the crew ensures we're safe, we can travel anywhere. Her eyes widened. Anywhere? Anywhere, he repeated. But we'll go together. Ina held his hand tightly. Then we can be free. Rel nodded. Yes. Together. Over the next few days, Rel and Ina learned more about the rescue crew and the Genesis program. The scientists on board explained that Ina was indeed a unique child, a hybrid meant to bridge species, to bring understanding between humans and the Kila. They marveled at her intelligence and her unusual abilities, but they also respected the bond she shared with Rel. Your father, one scientist said gently, may not have created you, but he has chosen to protect you. That choice matters more than anything else. Rel felt a warmth in his chest. He had never thought of himself as special. But in protecting Ina, he realized that family wasn't always about blood. It was about care, loyalty, and love. Ina looked up at him. Father. Yes, Rel said. I am your father. Her smile lit up the room. Then I am ready for anything. Days later, the rescue ship left the asteroid field behind. Rel and Ina stood together on the observation deck, watching stars pass by. The alien ship had not returned, and the human crew had promised to monitor the Genesis program closely. Ina's existence was no longer a secret, and she was safe. Rel felt a sense of peace he had never known. The loneliness of drifting from ship to ship was gone. He had someone to care for, someone who looked at him with trust and love, someone who called him father. I never thought life could be like this, he said softly. Ina looked up at him, eyes shining. Because it is new, and we are new together. Rel smiled and lifted her into his arms. She laughed, a soft musical sound that echoed through the deck. For the first time in his life, he felt complete. Not just a survivor, but a protector, a guide, a father. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. Worlds waited to be discovered. Adventures lay ahead. But Rel knew one thing for certain. As long as he had Ina by his side, he could face anything. The days turned into weeks. The rescue ship traveled to distant human colonies, sharing stories of the Genesis child. Scientists documented Ina's abilities and intelligence. Children on different planets marveled at her teal-blue skin and silver eyes. Adults wondered at the possibilities her existence represented. And through it all, Rel stayed close, teaching her, guiding her, protecting her. Ina learned quickly about ships, technology, languages, and the mysteries of the universe. But most importantly, she learned about love and trust. And Rel learned, too, that strength was not only in survival, but in caring for someone else, in choosing to be more than a loner drifting through space. One evening, as they watched a small, blue planet rise over the horizon, Ina leaned her head on Rel's shoulder. "Father," she said softly, "what do you think is out there?" Rel smiled. "Anything we imagine, and more. But we'll face it together." She closed her eyes. Content, and he held her hand tightly. The stars stretched forever, bright and full of promise. And for the first time, Rel realized that even in a vast, cold universe, there was a place for warmth, family, and hope. He had opened a crate expecting food, but instead he had found a child who called him father. And in that moment, he had discovered a universe far greater than any star or planet. The universe of love, courage, and family. Together, they would explore it. Together, they would survive. Together, they would thrive.